Well, we have a Summon Happy Hour, an Empower Happy Hour, and new events out today, which sounds exciting, and also events with changed event currency structure. But unfortunately, we've got some quite bad news to go through today, and I know that we have known about this for a while, but we have this special thing called Mythical Rarity that is going to be coming into the game. So this is no longer just leaks, because this was being leaked and shared around months ago, and nothing was really happening with the Mythical Rarity, but it looks like they have finally decided on a date for the new Mythical Rarity being February 28th, which means that, you know, we've always had Mythicals in the game, but before, Mythicals were dragons that didn't really have a designation, because like if we look in the game right now, we have legendaries and you just got every single legendary in here, but Mythicals are the Cat 10 dragons. So if you want to know what kind of dragons those are, it includes vampires, which means that vampires will also be changing to this new Mythical Rarity, which you'd think, well, at least it makes them look cool and makes it clearer for new players. The problem is the amount of orbs required to summon Mythicals will also be increasing. Not only this, we've got a new type of Joker orbs, we've got a new Mythical Trading Essence, which means that all of the grind that you've done to collect, you know, your existing currency. Let me just accept this chest here quickly. I didn't really bother with this one, I was too busy. But if you think about all of the trade essence and such that you've got, and the orbs and things that you've got, Joker orbs specifically, you're now going to have to collect more of those for a new rarity entirely. Because, you know, at the moment we have all the other rarities, and then legendary and heroic. Well, now you're going to have a mythical one that you're going to have to collect as well. So legendary trade essence is going to see a massive nerf. And you'll see that I've got 1,138 legendary essence to use right now, which is not what we want. It's essentially not really what we want. We'd want a bigger split, and also we wouldn't want to really be keeping so much if there's the potential for us to get some of the existing mythicals. But anyway, let's go through this actual post, and this will sort of explain why the general feedback section of the official Dragon City Discord and the official, you know, areas in general, why they've received so much, I guess you could say, poor feedback. Both some of them just not being very well thought out, but then some of them just explaining why this is a terrible idea. You know, this happens all the time when we get new updates for the game. Of course, sometimes people will criticize things without much information or anything like that. But I think that the general idea that this is pretty much just a very pay-to-win, hungry-looking update does seem to ring true. And, you know, the players seem to be able to sniff that out quite easily. But anyway, let's go through this and explain why. Yeah, I find it funny that it's triggering a lot of players, but, you know, I understand the problems and implications of us having this mythical rarity as well. But it says, as history remembers, mythical dragons have always shared the spotlight with legendaries, but the time has come for them to claim their own rarity. So, again, it's gonna be like they're the same as before, essentially, but now that they've got a new rarity, and the costs are going to change on them. So, with the introduction of the new rarity, all Cat 10 legendary dragons will automatically be grouped under their own unique rarity and badge, the Mythicals. Because if you didn't know, category in Dragon City determines what the base stats are going to be for a dragon. So they're the stats that, you know, all the damage and powers and that based on, along with, you know, the actual damage under a specific move or whatever. But category is the thing that will determine, you know, how much HP they have, how much damage they have. And so category 10s were always seen as the ones that you want. The problem with dragons like the Walking Deads is they're category 9s, which means they're weaker than the category 10 dragons overall. But if they've got a really good skill, then you can still use cat 9s. But that's always been the big, massive benefit of vampires, because vampires are category 10 dragons, but they also only cost 100 orbs to summon. Ignore High Voodoo, of course, but the rest of the legendary vampires, they were always just regular legends, treated as the regular legends, but they had skills, they were cheap to summon, and you know, they were easy to pick up for new players, relatively speaking. That will no longer be the case. So, going on from this, it says mythical dragons will be clearly positioned between legendary heroic, which is to be expected. We've got a rarity filter, which, you know, like the rest of them, you can search via mythicals instead of just legends now. And the new rarity means new resources. Yay! Said no one. The mythical rarity comes with its own dragon orbs, joker orbs, and trade essences. You can recognize them by their pink color. So, yeah, we've got the gay orbs now, which I'm a fan of. Either the Barbie or the gay orbs, the Ken orbs. But it says mythical orbs and jokers as well as mythical trade essence will be distributed across the game so that you'll be able to find them just like any other orbs and trade essences inside event islands and offers. They'll also be included in additional areas of the game. Now, that is something that, of course, we would have loved to know and be clarified, and it has. The only problem that I have is just think about where you get heroic trade essence from right now. Think about where you get a legendary trade essence from right now. And now we're going to add another one. So either they're going to keep the balancing with how available those trade essences are the same, and this is just going to be additionally, or there's the potential that we may end up missing out on other trade essences or joker orbs because these are going to be filling in that slot now. So exactly how this is balanced, we're not going to know right now, but this has the potential to mean that now, heroic stuff could become harder for us to get, and that's if they just replace some of the existing heroic stuff with mythical stuff. Of course, we hope that that is not going to be the case, but just be aware that that could in fact be something that could happen. It's a very real concern that players would have. So then if we scroll down, summoning mythical dragons and trade essences. To better differentiate legendary and mythicals, we have made some adjustments to the number of orbs required to summon a mythical. The number of orbs required to summon a mythical has increased from 100 to 150. Personally, I think this is the biggest issue with this update, and it's just purely because suddenly we've gone from these dragons that we knew to be X difficult to summon, and now they're just more difficult to summon on top of having new rarity for seemingly not very much reason, unless they make these orbs and trade essence and everything a lot easier to find than legendary or heroic trade essence. But I'm not hopeful of that. And if they don't make the drops for these new items, well, they have a lot of them. If they don't do that, then this is just going to be a massive, massive nerf for new players. So there is that. The number of orbs required to summon a mythical dragon belonging to a divine season pass or a VIP offer remains unchanged at 200. That's fine, it's how it was anyway, who cares. The number of legendary orbs you can trade when using legendary trade essence has increased from 6 to 7. So if we're using the same amount of essence, then that's just a good thing in a sense. It will technically make them easier to get in that sense, but that's only if you are actually taking part in trading. The number of mythical orbs you can trade when using mythical trade essence remains unchanged at 6. So mythicals is going to be the same, but legendary is going to increase. So the ones that aren't mythicals, well, we're going to get a bonus to them, but just not to mythical. So then, note that the orbs and mythical dragons you already own will automatically be changed from legendary to mythical. And so this is the reason why you're going to see a lot of trading happening right now, because people that don't want to have to collect a new resource, and players like me that have been stacking their legendary trade essence, you're going to see a lot of trades coming out right now. And that's basically just to be preparatory in case they do screw up the balancing and drop rates of the, mythical essence and stuff like that. Just in case, it's probably going to be safer for you to spend all of your stuff now rather than saving it and realize you've been screwed over. So there is that is going to be going on. And then they're saying, we currently have 150 plus mythical dragons. You can find a full list of them here. And then they open up and how many mythical dragons are there in the game? Shows you how many there are. But of course, the ones that we would mainly be focusing on would be things like Titan dragons. We'd be focusing on vampires. Because like we've got dragons like No Sleep Dragon. We've got the other mythical dragons that of course come in the events like Puzzle, for instance. But the main ones that people are going to remember are going to be the ones with the really good skills, like dual perception and things like that. But that is the main brunt of this. The Mythical Rarity will be introduced to Dragon City around February 28th. Well, they keep saying 28th, but then the exact date might change, but let's assume February 28th. If you were planning to use your legendary jokers to summon or empower, then we encourage you to do so before the new rarity comes into effect. So yeah, they're going to give us summon and empower happy hours so that we can use all of our existing resources so that we don't feel like we've been screwed over. So that is the reason why we have the summon and empower happy hours right now. So they haven't just decided to randomly be nice with them. They are doing it to make sure that you do not seethe and mold as much as you would if you didn't get to use them. I mean, I'm not going to complain because I do like summoning and empower happy hours, and it means that they are going to give me a chance to, you know, say, empower my Michonne, which I could do right now. Like, I could take Michonne to E5 if I wanted to, easy clap, or we could try and focus on one of our mythicals if we wanted to, like Duo Destruct, because yeah, Duo Destruct is a mythical. So we could, in fact, just focus on him and then just use the regular orbs on, like, the Walking Deads because they're Cat 9s. So you've got a few choices. Either you just use all of your resources now because you have them, or you really do focus on upgrading specifically your mythical dragons so that then you don't lose any value on those. I've not made my choice quite yet what I'm going to do. I do have, like, 1,200-ish nearly, so I'm not going to make the decision, like, willy-nilly. We've got a couple of days to decide what I want to do, but we'll decide then, and then we'll have some more coming up soon. But I guess fundamentally the problem is just that the more currencies you add, the more resources that we have to collect from events. It just means that they have to give more drops of these items from various events, so they're going to have to fill more of these boards with more of these items that we want, or we're just going to end up taking a loss on these items. And so although we would have to see exactly how it's balanced and exactly how it's implemented, especially the vampire change seems like a really negative change for the new players. So, you know, I know that for a long time, we were quite lucky in the sense that vampires were such an easy pickup for the new players. And, you know, it was always a thing where Hexed is such a nice early game pickup. You can use her to take on your league battles. All that you need to do is one trade, summon her, easy done. That's not going to be the case anymore. So you're going to have to do way more than just a singular trade in order to get her. And it's going to have to be a mythical trade, not a legendary trade. And that's also going to mean cross-trading. Whoa! You know, sometimes it might be possible or necessary even to do cross trades if we get desperate once this update hits. But cross trading in general is like scam central. It's the easiest way to confuse people. It's the easiest way to screw over the players. So anything that is pushing us in that direction, I am not a fan of. I think there's a lot of potential problems with introducing another rarity. And honestly, considering what it is, they're just legendaries. Just with a different, like with a specific category. I really don't think that it was deserving of its own rarity system. I'd rather have something completely different be implemented. Personally, I just don't think it's very interesting. But, you know, at the end of the day, I'm going to wait to see exactly how it's implemented. But I am very concerned on what the drops will be like for these items. If it turns out they're okay, then they're going to be okay. If not, then I do think that this is just going to be a net negative for the player base overall. And, you know, at least they're giving us the chance to use our existing currency rather than just throwing the update on us and then that's it. We've been completely screwed over. But it's not an update that I think is an exciting one. I think, if anything, it is just kind of a negative one. I don't think it's really added anything to the game apart from just making the entire trading and summoning system just more annoying. And I think that overall updates like that should be avoided, but obviously they seem to think it's going to make them money. So that is why it exists, and that is very unfortunate. But I guess those are my overall thoughts and just a quick introduction to what the Mythical Rarity is. Of course, you can check all this out yourself on the Social Point or the Dragon City game website, I should say. But I just don't really see the point. Anyway, aside from the mythical update, we do have a big update to events as well, and this has also actually gone through in the Dragon City news section. They posted this in the official server, of course, saying that during this event, we've got some exciting news. You can earn up to 2,000 event coins in one go for the upcoming Sweet Revenge Grid, Maze, and Fog Islands, and that's every 24 hours. So this means that if you remember from Christmas, where we had changes to the amount of currency that we could get, well, now we've got another change, except now it's 2,000 per day. So you only have to log in once in this event right here, this Revenge Island and the other currency-based events. Only once a day, collect 2,000 coins, there you go, you're all done skis straight away. Nice and easy clap. We do also have Sweetheart quests going on at the moment. We'll probably have some for Grid as well later on, but I think that it is a good change to have one-day resets. It's just before we'd have quests to make up for the additional currency, but now it looks like they've factored that into the overall amount of currency that we get once per day. So it just means these events, we don't even have to really think about them. Once a day, that's it. And in terms of the actual Grid Island, I usually make guides for these. I'm not going to do it this time just because we've got the new currency system. At least not right now, anyway. But usually with the Grid Event Islands, the choice is going to be, are you going to go for the new dragon at the end? Well, towards the end of the free-to-play section of the event, this time being Dauntless, or are you going to go for the event items? In this case, we do have corrupted insignias in the event, so you may very well want to take part in that. And we also have Sweetheart chests, and inside these you can get the stone hearts and you can get the sickly sweet syrups. And so, of course, that means that we have a new collection for them. And this collection, I will say, isn't the most interesting collection I've ever seen. I mean, we do have free breeding perks. We've got free jokers, you know, not tons, but you can unlock this multiple times. We do have a VIP chest, which this is the one that interests me, and 80 jokers. And then we've got a Titan egg, which the Titan egg is whatever. The 200 legendary jokers are interesting, but they are legendary jokers, not mythical jokers. So maybe if you were to use them straight away, it would be pretty good, but otherwise, But you can also get perks from this. It's just Titan egg itself isn't that interesting to me. I've already got multiple duplicates for Titans and such. If anything, it's just the VIP chest. But aside from that, the collection IMO is a little bit boring. Of course, there is the final part of the collection as well, which has orbs for one of the dragons as well. And we do have Moxie, which appears to have Turbo Shock for some reason. I'm not sure if that's going to stay like that, but random skill on Moxie sounds interesting. But yeah, I'm not really too excited about the collection myself, but at the end of the day, it's still a collection that gives you free stuff, and if you were trying to like maximize the number of joke rolls you get, you should probably go for the event items out of the event, because if you are going to try and get the dragon out of the grid event, you're going to have to get currency from every single event, not fail any of it, collect it every single day without failing, and you would have to devote 100% of your movements to this dragon. And we do have the general grid guides, of course, that show you the exact path that you can use. It's just generally you're not going to get tons of rewards if you just go for this dragon. That's why it's normally the better option to go for the event items, so in this case insignias and Sweetheart chests. But it's your choice at the end of the day what you want to go for. There's no right or wrong. It's either dragon or event items. And on top of that event, it's not the only event we have. We also have a puzzle event on right now. And of course, with puzzle events, we have the new dragons. In this case, we've got Wretched, which I think is a very nice looking boy. We do also have your boy Potatorcha. Well, I say your boy, but your queen Potatorcha, available just as a random dragon in this event. So I'm so happy that you can enjoy this dragon for yourself. I got them from the original tower event, and Potatorcha is the queen of all queens, but you can actually get this dragon just by playing the puzzle event. And so we did just have a puzzle event as well, so I'm kind of like, oh god, really, another one? But in this puzzle event, we've got more of those Sweetheart chests, we have corrupted insignias, we have grid coins, and we've got plasma insignias. You know, we've got tons of event items, essentially, is what you should be looking forward to. And, of course, the new dragon. But, you know, you can pick up tons of the bonus event items and insignias in these events, which is nice. But do bear in mind that this event lasts for 5 days and the grid event is going to be for 6 days, 16 hours. So you might as well just pick up all of the additional grid event currency, because why the heck not? You know, you don't really have any other choice. You're going to have to pick it up because there's no other event coming out. Oh, I'm still sick. Sorry. But yeah, we're going to have these grid coins. You might as well pick them up. At least get to the 2,000 grid coins and try and pick up as many event chests as you can. Get the new dragon. But aside from that, I normally just chill in these puzzle events, and it works exactly the same as usual. Just do your quests. So we got quest battles, we got arena battles, league battles, and of course we have breeding, which I did not pre-breed because I could not be bothered, and now I regret it. So this is why you should pre-breed for these puzzle events, or if you don't, you just get screwed over like me. Hehe. No, it's not too bad. But anyway, we will also have currency available in the ads, of course, so make sure that you are watching your ads, getting your free currency from that. But generally, those are the currently ongoing events, and if you do want to check what all of the new events are and the sort of schedule that you can expect, of course, they do have all of this in the game. So we've got Sweet Revenge, January 29th to February 8th. Open the Sweet Heart chest found in the event islands and quest to collect stone hearts and sickly sweet syrups. It's the same as usual, but we do have the grid event. We have the puzzle event on right now, and then we will have a runner event, and then we will have a maze event. So those are the events that are upcoming. I don't know why they always do them out of order. It annoys me greatly. Like, why? Why are we showcasing the event at the end as the first one? And why are we showcasing, like, the January 29th events in the middle? Anyway, that is my personal gripe with this every single time. Maybe there is a reason, but it annoys me greatly. But those are the upcoming events. I will say that I do quite like most of the dragons. I don't really like the grid event girl, honestly. And then, of course, we have that notification about new mythical update coming. But I think you'll see a lot of seething and molding over this mythical update over the next few weeks. And, you know, technically, even though they've announced it, they don't have to release it. But if they've announced it officially, they're probably going to be releasing it, and we're probably not going to have any say in it. The things that we could possibly have a say in, you know, from the feedback is how it's balanced, considerations for where they're going to make these things available. So if you're not really too keen on the idea, make sure that you leave your feedback with them. But at the end of the day, know that they've probably been considering this update and these additions for a while now. They've probably considered a lot of different factors, like, you know, how much money they think that they can make out of it, player retention, and obviously that's why they've made this decision to create this rarity system. But, you know, saying that, even though they've got people paid to decide and make these decisions, doesn't necessarily mean that it's a good decision for them, even by a monetary perspective. They're just guessing at the end of the day based on, you know, actual stats, I'm sure, but, you know, it doesn't mean that they are going to make the best decision for everyone, nor does it mean that the players are just going to accept it without having a big hissy fit about it either. But, you know, you do have avenues and channels where you can leave your feedback to them, and I do suggest that if you're upset about the update, that you do that. But, you know, at the end of the day, I'm just going to wait to see what happens, what the balancing is like, and then if it really sucks, then I will come back later on and say, yeah, this update really, really sucks, and then we can go from there. But I don't like to be too judgmental early on, just in case there's something that I don't know about, something that I've overlooked. Maybe they are going to make it nice and easy to get mythical orbs, and maybe it'll ultimately be better for the health of the game for some reason that I'm not thinking of. But I'm mainly just, you know, the old advice of going for vampires for new players. That's, of course, going to change probably. Maybe it will, maybe it won't, maybe they'll still end up being just, you know, okay to still go for, but it's not going to have the same ease of obtaining anymore. You're not going to be able to just beg someone for one singular trade and then summon them now. They're actually going to require some work, which is a pain, especially for people that were looking to summon them just to, you know, get their food out of them as well, because they do generate food. Well, now that is not going to be the case, or not as easy to achieve anyway. But I guess my TLDR of this is rest in peace vampires, rest in peace new players. I'm sure the rest of us will mostly be fine, but the era of vampires may well and truly be over.